Hi everybody. It's me again. It's Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another movie review. Yesterday I finally got to see Django Unchained, and if you don't know me very well, then this will probably shock you. Uh, I'm a rather big fan of Quentin Tarantino's work, and I feel like this is one of his best to date. Well, next to Inglourious Bastards and Kill Bill 1 and 2. Uh, this was different than any other film I've seen Quentin do. Just the account of because it was a western, and I like westerns due to the romanticism of it. But it was done in such a way that it portrayed the Wild West as it should have been. And my dad was making this comment that Van Dyke beard probably would not have been in style then, because shaving oneself in that way was so precise that they probably couldn't have done that. And I also felt that this was an inaccuracy in the film, but it's a small inaccuracy, and to me, I didn't really mind. I didn't care one way or the other whether characters had Van Dykes or not. Um, I liked the atmosphere of it, and the music was different. It was a mixture of classical, modern, um, an uplifting song from, I think it was the 70s. Yeah, I know that song very well because I remember hearing it um, just growing up, and it was one of my favorites. I liked all the different styles of music because it just portrayed the different mood and setting of the story as it continued, and it was a very good plot device, I felt. And I think that Jamie Foxx is, of course, stupendous. Samuel L. Jackson, I hardly even recognized him, but his character was probably one of the funnier ones. He was very interesting as well. I won't say why, because if I do, it's a huge plot point. So I don't want to give that away because it really takes you back when you see it. It's just a shocker. I thought that everything that was portrayed, even though it was difficult to watch in spots, was done extremely well. And the reason it was rated R was, well, for one thing, language and gore. There was a lot of blood in this movie, but I'm not really bothered by blood. I think that for the time period that it was presented in, this was understandable. It's the Wild West. There is no law. You make your own laws as you go along. But anyway, sorry, I get into character sometimes, and I can't help it. I also thought that the nudity aspect was done in such a way that it was subtle, but they do have a full frontal in there, but it does just the way it's done, the way it's depicted is a way that it elicits a visceral reaction out of the audience and the people watching. It did for me. I was just shocked. I wasn't really shocked, but it was just one of those things that you thought this could have happened. Um, as characters are concerned, I love Django. I just thought that he was just a superb character and a badass and didn't take any guff from anybody and just a man of his own free will, basically. And of course, my other favorite character was King Schultz, and King Schultz was awesome, hands down. He really was. He just grew on me, and being half German myself, I couldn't help but relate to King Schultz. Uh, there were a lot of things that were said that were very true, especially about German stories. I can attest to that, even though I am an American. Uh, but it's just so amusing. His character has some of the best lines in the film, other than Stephen, who's played by Samuel L. Jackson. I think the movie deserves 5 stars. It is just absolutely spectacular. I do believe with the other critics that this is Tarantino's masterwork, and Tarantino's actually in it, which I just thought was the coolest thing. It just reminded me of directors from the past who have done the same thing, like my hero Alfred Hitchcock, and also Tarantino's another one of my idols. I just absolutely adulate him. I love his work. He's so unique in how he thinks outside the box, and he mixes different elements together, and he combines east and west and north and south. Actually, he combines all different things together in Django, which make it that much more entertaining, I think. But it's an example of man's inhumanity to man, and it's difficult to watch in spots, but I think that was very accurate for the time period, and it makes you wonder, did this brutality, the kind of cruelty that we see, did that actually occur? What wasn't that bad? I'd like to think that yes, it was that bad, and I'm glad that my ancestors had no part in that. But I love the soundtrack. I love the characters. I thought that Jonah Hill was brilliant because I didn't expect that he would be in a western at all. I was so surprised. I thought that's Jonah, and I love Jonah Hill. I think he's an excellent comedian, and he doesn't get the the notoriety he deserves. I have a special affection for comedians, is I know that their job is really hard, and oftentimes they have a very difficult upbringing, and they have sordid, checkered childhoods that they reap the benefits from and make other people laugh due to it. But inside they're crying. Poor guys. I just feel for them. But at least they make money from their own tragedy. It, he's very talented, and in this particular part, he's one of the men that try to raid King Schultz and Django. Small spoiler, sorry, but it's just one of the funniest things that you'll ever see. I'm still laughing about that, and it really got me giggling quite a bit. Just the way it was written, the way it was acted, Jonah's confusion about the entire goings on around him. He was just completely clueless and oblivious. He was just an idiot, but he did it so well, and I think that he deserves kudos for that. Everybody does, and I didn't know the man who played Schultz, but I absolutely loved him. He was just an allegorical contrast to the different characters. The whole westernness and Americanness, if that's a word, American qualities of the West itself versus his European background. And I thought that was very intriguing because I can relate quite a bit to this, even though I am a native-born American, but there are times I don't really feel like I'm uh, American. It's the strangest thing. I don't know why that is. I'm not sure, but I do like my country. I will say that I love America, and I enjoy it here, and I know that the way that matters were portrayed in this film, which is a gem, by the way. It is absolutely sensational. It was very apropos and very accurate. Maybe there were some things that weren't quite so accurate, but this is creative license, as I like to call it, which Quentin does so with this panache and flair and a lot of chutzpah. He's got a lot of that. And I just think that he did so well, but I'm wondering how this movie is going to fare in the Oscars, which I'll be watching the Oscars this year. I don't know if any of you will be or not. I'm really excited to see if any of my picks will get chosen, which maybe a few will, maybe a few won't. Most of the time, the movies that I feel should get the thumbs up and the 5 stars they don't even get a mention. So I feel kind of sad, but Oh well. I think it's all a bunch of playing favorites and political uh, politics, I should say, especially with Zero Dark 30 of that this year. That was definitely politics, and you know, I'm not going to go any further into that without getting flames and getting clobbered. So the least said is the easiest mended. Um, I haven't really done much of anything except for that. I'm looking forward to seeing Warm Bodies, though I know that my father probably will not want to see that film. It's a zombie movie and it's a romance as well. A zombie mance. Finally, I'm happy. It's my dream come true. And then of course, Die Hard, which I am a huge fan of the Die Hard series. Um, Gangster Squad, I'm really looking forward to, though I know my father really isn't too keen on the idea. But he knows I'm a big fan of mobster films. I always have been ever since I was a little girl. But those are the movies I'm looking forward to so far this year. And I was just trying to think of that one. I can't recall the name of it. But it looks really good. It looks rather funny. Enjoyable, entertaining. Not, I don't know why I mixed two words together. But if you have a chance to see Django Unchained, unless you're not a fan of westerns or Quentin Tarantino or J.B. Fox or the idea of violence, it is rather gory. There are some scenes in it that will maybe turn your stomach a little bit, make you wince. I know they made me wince quite a bit. But I don't really mind. I actually enjoy films like this one because it just depicts such crassness, this uh, abomination is the best adjective I could come to think of. It's just horrendous of inhumanity, basically. I have recently finished Rascals, which will be up and ready to read on fictionpress.com. So go check that out. I'm going to start writing on Tap, which is kind of like I haven't seen the movie Pitch Perfect, but you could kind of compare the two because this young girl, she's being bolstered by her family and buoyed up by them to become a great dancer. Sorry, my computer went to sleep on me. I have to make sure that it doesn't do that ever again. But typically that's the synopsis of the story. I think their name's Camille or something. I forget what I call my main character here, but she tries to bring Tap back into the. Yeah, just a minute, okay? Just a minute. Howard. Sorry. I am the real life Howard Wolowitz. Anyway, that's about it for my review and my update. I shall see you again. So, ciao.